Good morning. It's a beautiful Friday morning. The weekend is here. Yay! Although, for all of you entrepreneurs, we all know there's no such thing as a weekend when you're an entrepreneur. You just go, 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 go. My favorite saying again, I get to pick whichever 16 hours a day I'm going to work. I am in charge, baby. It always makes me laugh. Now, oh my gosh, we have had an incredible week. Last Saturday, we were in Edmonton for the very first time ever, the Women Talk Africa. What a sensational event that was. There was some good, some bad. When you're discussing difficult topics, it's not always easy, but in the end, I was blown away by the results. And we'll talk about that a little bit today. We're also going to talk about what is it like to run a women's organization, because I believe that it's a little bit different than a man only or both sexes. Not by a huge amount, but there are some subtle differences. And I have two amazing guests that are going to help me talk about this fabulous topic. So, of course, our first guest this morning is the fabulous Nancy Seeger, our national corporate sponsor. Hello, Nancy.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
How are you?
I'm awesome. It's Friday.
Woo! Do you take the weekends off?
No.
When you're an entrepreneur, you just don't. Flexible. You can come and go and, go to school with your kids if you have to. But your husband is out of town, is he?
He's gone this week, yeah.
Yeah. So what's going to happen when he's gone? You are going to work, aren't you?
It's exactly right. I have no reason not to. I said to him, I'm going to get so much stuff done this week just because you're not around. He's like, yeah, I'm going to have to do something to get you away from the computer.
I know. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Sherry. I see we have a bunch of listeners already watching the fabulous show. So hop on if you have any question or any comments, because we have a lot of celebration today. Other than the Women Talk Africa, we also have a new family member at Women Talk. Let's introduce her immediately. The fabulous Janine Brisebois. Okay, Nancy, say her name. I'm putting you on the spot. Say her name.
Janine Brisebois.
Oh! That was impressive. You got it. Oh, wait, I got to do something with my camera here. I'm like, woo! Okay. Welcome, Janine. So what Janine is doing is she's going to be our interim director for Women Talk Edmonton. The wonderful Brenda Roche, who has been with Women Talk Edmonton since the beginning of it, has moved on to a new position with another great organization, which is Fabulous at 50. And I am so grateful for everything that Brenda has done for Women Talk in Edmonton. And now I'm super excited to have Janine on board. Janine, tell us about you. What do you do? Who are you? Where do you come from? You have 2 minutes.
Yay! Well, hello, everybody, and I am really thrilled to be here. I am a woman who believes in other women. I see the power and the enthusiasm that women have within themselves, and I see the greatness within every single one of them. What my work has been in the past has been mostly to work with women in the last 20 years and to uncover all the stuff that we keep hidden for whatever reason that may be. I love, absolutely adore seeing women develop and grow and become their best self. And so the work that I do now is to work with entrepreneurs and business leaders to uncover how they can eliminate all the conflict in their lives through neuroscience of communication.
That is so fascinating. Neuroscience communication. So what does that mean?
Well, that means that the brain is wired to every single part of our body. And when we are not in a position where we feel we can speak. We're living in fear. We're in a position where we're afraid for our jobs. We work then in the survival mode of our brain. And there are very clear ways to move ourselves to the trusting area of our brain. And when we're working in trust, we can co-create. We can open up. And that part of the brain is also connected to what scientists are now discovering is the heart brain. And the heart brain is very powerful. It developed before the rest of the brain. So this is the neuroscience of communication is becoming acutely aware of which part of your brain is activated while you are working or talking or being.
Or drinking tequila.
Yeah, that too.
So, hey, listen, thank you. Like, you are going to be such a great addition because, as you know, Women Talk is an organization where ordinary women share their extraordinary stories. And I think that your knowledge will be absolutely fantastic because often these women have never spoken publicly before. So it is extremely, extremely hard. And you know, when you're a professional speaker, you can read your audience really, like, you know, you have you've done it many, many times, but heck, I'm telling you, when it's that first time, it is some scary. I'm actually going to a high school today. I am speaking at a teachers conference, and I am going there to convince them that public speaking is as important as reading and writing.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. Public speaking for children have a voice. And that voice, I mean, we quiet that voice as adults. We shush them. And public speaking would be such a phenomenal way for them to learn how to actually elocute what it is that they need to say and how to say it and get that voice back.
Yeah. So let's talk about women's group because they're a little bit different. And the first part I would like to start with is our event in Edmonton, because actually it just happens that the both of you were at Women Talk Africa on Saturday. And I was blown away a little bit about what happened because, you know, in typical Brigitte fashion, I get an idea and like, woo, let's do it. And then after the fact, like all these things happen sometimes. And you know, it was awesome. Don't get me wrong. Everything about it was perfect. I really, really loved it. But it made me realize that culture, women of different culture, there hasn't been that much communication. How did you guys feel at the event? Nancy, how did you feel at the event with, you know, there were women of African descent and Canadian women, which were a descent from somewhere, all of us.
We all come from somewhere else. That's true. So I think it was an extremely empowering event. I think you touched on the main point there is that there's not enough real integral communication between the different cultures, and every culture handles things differently. But I mean, a lot of what they value is family, community, the power of each other, and all of those things are still values for us. It's just that they experience it and they explain it differently. So I think it's really powerful to be in the middle of it. I've tried to explain to my family and other people how I felt at that event or why it was such a big deal, and it's so hard to put it into words because unless you experience it, you can't relate to it. But it is that sense of culture from there. I just think that they didn't have enough dance parties. That was my biggest concern.
I agree. We should have had way more dancing. We kind of got out of hand with our timing. Everybody was like, "Well, I'm finishing my story, so I need a cane. Just pull them off the stage." But you know, it made me realize that I want to do more. My next one, I'm putting it out there to the universe. Sorry, Nancy. My next one I want to do is with Aboriginal women. I think that there is a huge need for them to share their stories, not only within their circle, but all over with like women of all different backgrounds.
Well, I think that's a really important point that you touch on there is we have to first get them sharing their stories with each other because that's a safer environment. And then the ones who have that confidence, and Janine, this is where you're going to come in, is helping develop that, get them so that they can share it with the rest of the world, because that's the power of it. That's the power of women, and we all draw on each other's special gifts.
Yeah. Janine, what was your favorite part of the Women Talk Africa and having all these women under? I think there's about 100 women, just a little under 100.
Well, apart from the colorful costumes that they wore and the incredible women that I met and the ambiance of the room and the food. Ooh, I love African food. Oh.
I'm with you.
It was so good. Like, you should have seen Sherry and Sherry beside me. I looked over.
And they never eat mouths of food.
Where do you put all that food? It was really good.
Yeah.
So Janine, have you ever ran and by the way, we have Sherry. I've actually talked a couple of times with Sherry. She actually met me when I very, very first moved to Fort McMurray in 1982, not speaking English. And she's saying we need to bring this to Fort McMurray. There are a lot of very difficult stories up there since the fires. That's the thing about stories. When you get a community together, sharing those stories, it's so powerful. Sherry, give me a call. We need to talk. We could do just a one-off event like we did in Edmonton, a Women Talk Classics or a conference, like a one-day thing. Let's chat. But Janine, tell me a little bit. What is it like for you to run a women's group? Like, how different is it than a mixed group or men only? How do you feel about it? Or do you think there is any difference?
Oh, no, I think there's quite a difference. And again, I think part of that has to do with the culturalization of men versus women. Women are allowed to share their emotions. And when they're in a safe place and they're able to share emotions, I see women working a lot more deeply from the heart of who they are and where they come from. And when they work from that element, then they are unstoppable and they are powerful. When they try to step into the men's shoes and try to be, staunch and just totally logical, I think that they lose a piece of their power because they're emulating, not being. And that's the difference that I've seen in the women that I've worked with. And the incredible thing is that area of safety for women, when we're in a safe place and we can support each other, then we all grow. But when we're in the environment opposite to that, where we're afraid for our jobs, then we shut down. And when we shut down, I believe that's why women now are having more heart attacks than they had in the past, is that they're shut down.
Yeah, and I talk like this is in my book. Wait, can I do this? Oh, it's kind of backwards. It's always hard. There we go. This is my anthology that I put together. And in there, I do talk about this, the masculine energy and the feminine energy, and how we have both. Everybody has both. And I think that our society has pushed so hard for everybody to live in their masculine energy. And it's about material and gaining and power. And, we've lost the storytelling, the little bit more of a gentle, more emotional side. And men actually get the short end of the stick, I think, when it comes to this, is they are just pounded with not being allowed to show emotions. And it's pretty sad. How do you feel, Nancy? I know you've run some very prestigious groups, like multi-millionaires. What do you think is the difference when you run a men's group and a women's group?
Well, it's a real eye opener for me because Women Talk is, other than being involved in the CWL and other things, Women Talk is actually the first one I'm really involved with a whole bunch. I'm eWomen, Fabulous at 50. I belong to all those, but I'm really more involved with Women Talk. And you're right, having previously
Thank God you are, by the way. Just saying.
Having run, the organizations that are the previous one that I ran. They literally had, I think, 6 women out of 400 Now, these are multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires. And you're right, the dynamics is totally different. The conversations are totally different. The learning methodologies are different. For lack of a better phrase, the peacocking, right? How they present themselves, what they're allowed to say, how they say it, being on the back end and seeing how a woman speaker walks up there and prepares to go on stage and present to these groups versus how the men do. Totally different experience. Totally different.
Tell us a little bit more about that. What is it? Where is it that you see the big difference between a male female speaker?
Well, topic choice number one. Men never choose something that comes from the heart. Their anecdotes that they include in speeches have no feeling words. There's a lot less color to their presentations. Like Janine says, it's about the facts. It's about the process. It's make your decision this way. It's all logical, more, I would say, left brain than right brain. Yeah. And there are exceptions, of course, but the majority of them, and I got to tell you, I probably heard no less than 40 keynote presentations every year from this group for 5 years. So I think I'm qualified enough to say that the conversation is totally different. Their whole point about when they're on stage and presenting, and this is a group of creating education and awareness in CEOs, their whole point of this was more to talk about the overarching balance, how to manipulate things rather than how to feel through it and work through it and get in touch with yourself and recognize.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty much a fact. Most men, they like to have the big leader and they all fight for it, lock heads. And women, we like to be a circle.
Well, and I think there's some balance to that. Like, not all of the top CEOs, they're some of the lessons I learned from those groups were that you're only as valuable as the team you surround yourself with. Yeah. And your mindset is going to be the biggest difference to your success. So they're all very good about mindset work privately, but they do that privately with their coaches. They don't do it in a public forum.
All right. So I know that Janine has to go. She has a meeting coming up. So you are doing your debut as a Women Talk director this Wednesday in Edmonton. We are at the Sandman Inn in Edmonton West, and it's going to be a fabulous event. Are you excited?
I'm really excited. I can't wait to meet the speakers. I can't wait to meet the people that are coming and the food on the menu. Oh my gosh, you guys have to come at 6 o'clock because you're going to want to eat there. The food looks so good.
Yeah, like we're by this Chop Steakhouse, or is that what it is? That's
the Chop Steakhouse and Grill, or bar. The Chop Steakhouse and Bar. And providing whatever food we want to order off the menu. So yeah, from 6 till 7, we'll get to eat and share and talk. And then the whole event begins at 7 and we'll just absorb these wonderful stories.
So go to womentalk.ca/Edmonton to buy your tickets and come and join us. Now, can you stay a little bit longer, Janine, or do you have to go?
Oh, I can stay until I see the vehicle coming up the driveway. So I probably have another minute or two.
You've trained your customers to be right on time. That's nice.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And, I really do think it's funny because I've been talking. When I purchased womentalk.ca, I also purchased mentalk.ca. And I've owned it for years. And, I've been toying around the idea of doing a trial one. And so when I kind of survey people and ask them, men and women, and I always ask them, so I know that with Women Talk, when we're sharing story, most women, not all, but most women like the fact that it's only women in the room. Sometimes we have guys, but as a general, it's Women Talk. So, and we tell the guys we like to talk about our feelings, and they're like, okay, I'm good. Don't need to come to that. I'm joking here. But here's the feedback I'm getting. So women they like it better with all women in the room, but men would like to have women in the audience if they share a personal story.
Interesting. Why
and
is that?
because I think, sharing a personal story, your emotions, your feelings, it's feminine energy. And to show feminine energy in a room full of testosterone, it's hard. So I think that with women in the room, it would soften it up. What do you guys think?
I think you're bang on, because it is the men who are comfortable telling those kind of stories already have tapped into feminine energy, and they're aware of it and they appreciate it. The men who are super testosterone macho, types probably aren't going to want to tell as personal a story, right? What do you think, Janine?
I'm not sure. I find that really very interesting. I would have suspected that men wouldn't have wanted to share at the emotional level with women in the room, because, in Canadian culturization has been about being strong and not showing emotion. So I think it's fascinating that some of the feedback you've had is, yes, let's have some women there. I think it's worth trying.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the important part is giving them the forum to actually be able to share their stories. And I don't think men have that opportunity anywhere else. And that would be like women, we could do that anywhere. But men, I think there's the gold mine in opening the doors to permission for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some ladies here saying that they totally agree, and I think I'm gonna test one and see, because it's been calling me. I think that for example, there's a lot of men that have lost their kids through divorce, or they deal with very severe anxiety and all sorts of stuff. So it would be really cool. I would love to be in the audience and listen to experience the difference, for sure. Because I don't have too many men in my life.
Me either, and I want to change that.
Okay, everybody, let's find Janine a boyfriend.
Yes.
Oh, there we got
Okay, now I have to leave.
Okay, so we will see you next Wednesday in Edmonton, Janine. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thanks a million, everybody. Take care.
All
Have
right.
an amazing day.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Hi, Janine.
It's a very interesting concept.
I think that the men who, like I say, that energy is very different. And there are a lot of men, even after the We Too movement, that are really tapping into how important some of that energy is, and how they treat women, and how they respect women, and how they work with it. I think it would be a great, you talk about cultural shift and cultural merging. Yeah. I think there's a huge dynamic opportunity there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Sherry is saying, let's do it in Fort McMurray. That, Sherry, is called Go Big or Go Home. Yeah. With all the oil guys up there, and that were like, it would be very interesting. I think I might start with the women talk, and then we'll do a men talk. We'll see how it goes.
Well, and you can test it in Calgary, because there is, lots of opportunity here.
Yeah. And I need, obviously I would not be running the event. It would need to be a man that runs the event. So I got a couple guys, that I've kind of spoken to, so we'll see where it goes. But I must say, I love all women group, and I don't know about all men, because I don't get invited to those, obviously. But I've experienced very different kind of groups, right? Because I played hockey for 30 years. So I was part of these women's group that were all masculine energy, and let's go beat the crap out of them, to now being in a place where it's very soft and very feminine and powerful. They're both extremely powerful, very different energy, but very, actually, I would even say that the softer feminine energy is definitely stronger, more powerful.
I think it's also, I think you're very in tune to it. So I have a question for you. Do you have sisters?
Yes, I have one sister.
Okay. And that's also part of it. So I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers, but the energy is very different when you tap into them, when you grow up. So whoever you grow up closer to, you're also going to see that. But I live in a household of men. right? I have 2 sons, no women else in my life other than Women Talk, thank God. and the energy and how you tap into it is very different, but also because you're a powerful woman and I'm a powerful woman, we have bigger influence on those around us. So if you talk to people who are associated with my children, or like you've met my husband, he's very tapped into the feminine energy. He's not intimidated by it at all, right? Because he spent the last 30 years with me. So I do think that there is a crossover, and there are a lot more people coming in touch with the different energies. And as women stand in their power, you know, we're about lifting each other up, not just women. We lift everybody up. So I think it's important to bring that together and maybe do some healing after the Me Too movement and show the world how great it can be together.
And there is no better way to do that than sharing stories. I'm sorry, I am 100% believer in that statement. So we're going to leave it today with one more little event that we have coming up. We're going to be having a Women Talk conference. So that's a one-day event from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. in Fernie. We still have a couple of speaker spots that you can apply for. So you simply have to go to womentalk.ca/Fernie. Now that's going to be a fabulous event. We have comedian medium, I think it's comedian medium, Jenny Ogilvy will end the evening with us, and she is just absolutely fabulous and hysterical. You do not want to miss it. It's going to be a great day up in Fernie. And if you like skiing, then you just come early or stay after and go do some skiing. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nancy, for joining me today. And we will see you next Friday. Now, if you would like to be on the Rise and Grind show, the first thing you have to do is you have to be a Women Talk member. And then we host a member every week, Nancy and I, and have great topic of discussion. So if you have topics you would like us to discuss, or you would like to be on the show, join the membership. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks, Brigitte. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.